Alright, I am back at this seat. Welcome to TAP channel. Today we opted to talk about a limited edition. Not all limited editions get airtime, but this one certainly does. So what am I going to show you today? We are going to show you the WP900 SE. This WP900 SE is a successor to the original WP900. The WP900 was close back headphones that I owned. I believe the original was released about 5 years or 6 years ago. I had quite good memories of it, although over the years I've had so many headphones and IEMs, right? What intrigued me in the beginning was, of course, its wood finish. I used it quite a bit in the beginning and then I realized that I do have a little bit of a sibilance peak. The original WP900 was a little bit too sharp for me at the high end of the treble. Now, this time around, the WP900 SE, when we have gotten it, I was quite excited to see what has changed compared to the original. So without further ado, we are going to talk about what makes the WP900 SE really good. We can't only talk about the good, we also have to talk about its cons as well, right? To be fair. And then upon that, we will move on to talk about basic pairings, what pairs quite well with this current version of the WP900 SE. So first and foremost, before all of that, we have to get down to how this headphone looks, and I will present it and put it near to you. Right from the get-go, you can see, right, the old WP900 with its flame maple finish differs quite a lot with the current version. Why? Because the current version, in its same collaboration with Fujigen, and Fujigen is as a lot of you know, it's a prominent Japanese guitar maker. It's a three-tone sunburst finish, and it uses ash wood to obtain this. You look at it, right, in different angles, it really shines quite differently. Looks aside, right, we now have to then go into its bread and butter. How does it sound? And I think one of the things that stood out most for me generally is that Audio-Technicas, I always found the older iterations to have a bit of too much sparkle, and although it works very well with female vocals, however, I always found male vocals to be quite lacking. But in this iteration, it's completely fixed this problem. I was really impressed at its ability to represent male and female vocals equally well. I actually think this time around, the male vocals may be a tad even better. Why? Because when the male vocals, when they dip down into the low mids and bass, I found the representation to be really having a nice full-bodied representation. And this is quite rare for Audio-Technica. I do find them to be a bit thin. In recent years, Audio-Technica has really come back into the audiophile sector, and I can see why. This time round, the WP900 SE really shines, presenting a natural timbre and quite full-bodied representation. So it's able to make vocals sound really sweet and not overly buttery. But in its material, it actually particularly talks about how it's able to reproduce strings most accurately because of its new design, its 53mm driver, and how it's housed in a cup size which I found to be a very portable and compact cup size. This is quite difficult to do, especially in today's market, right? You see a lot of cans, they tend to be quite big and heavy, but this version honestly retains its compactness from the WP900 original version. The sparkliness and slightly sharp representation of the upper treble of WP900, right, is actually rolled off quite nicely now with the WP900 SE. So the biggest criticism that I have of the original has been taken off the table. And in terms of soundstage, as with many close backs, a lot of the times their soundstage is represented in a more studio effect. This is no different. However, it doesn't sound close to you, it still sounds clear, and most importantly, not veiled. A lot of some close backs may have this veiled off feeling that there is a layer between you and the playback, especially vocals. But in this WP900 SE, I couldn't sense any of that. I felt very much close to the playback that I'm listening to, almost as if the microphone, the person singing, is in a studio right across me. It gives a very nice natural feeling. These are all, I think, the good parts about it. Now, what are the things that I think it doesn't do well? Because in all the genres that I've mentioned, vocals, ballads, alternative, and even pop, really quite well. However, if you are looking for something like sub-bass response, having sub-bass rumble, I don't think this is the correct headphone for you. And which means that for listeners who are very much into metal, or maybe one step less heavy than metal, even rock, right? I don't think this will be the right headphone for you. So this is one thing that I have to say, one of its cons, which is its sub-bass response. If you're an Audio-Technica fan and having this limited edition in your collection is something that you would really like, then of course that's not an issue. But playback wise, I have to be very clear on its pros and its cons. Now, in terms of build design, right? Build design, the headphones can be folded flat and fitted into a provided pouch. So it is really easy to travel with, which is the one thing that if you have open bags, they will not be able to perform. Now, in the box, there are both 4.4 balance cable and also the single-ended 3.5. So it's really quite versatile for you to be able to plug into whichever device you have, whether is it through a dongle on your phone or you have a music player like a DAP. Either way it works. Because it's actually very easy to drive, its sensitivity is at 98 dB per milliwatt and impedance is at 37 ohms. So this pair of headphones are really quite easy to drive. You wouldn't have pretty much power issues when you use dongles. Its build design, apart from its compactness, you have to also look at its headband and ear pads. They are synthetic leather, so this time round, when you look at the headband design, it's pretty much similar to the original. So its headband aren't those that are easily replaceable. It's more the glued-on kind of headband. Yeah, since it can't be snapped on and off, with good care and regular use, right, it should still last you much of the distance. And the basic pairings are you can use either dongles or music players. Now, dongles, we think that the iBasso DC Elite really works well with it, and DC Elite has very nice complement with the 900 SE because it adds body and further resolution, making what the WP 900 SE do well even better. And it also slightly improves sub-bass and speed, very slightly, although don't expect absolute magic and suddenly you can be listening to rock or heavy metal, that's not what I'm saying, but yeah, it does improve it slightly. In terms of DAPs, the HiBi R6 Pro 2 also complements well with it, and the 180, the DX180 from iBasso, for some it may bring its forwardness a little bit over, but I do find that the full-bodied nature of iBasso DX180's sound signature complements quite well with the WP900 SE. So overall, what are the considerations and ratings for this headphone? I think below 750 USD for this very collectible headphone. With all the pros and cons being laid out, I think it's a pretty good value for money. Definitely hits the spot in terms of compactness, sublime design, and convenience. You are also quite unlikely to feel fatigue over long listening because the representation and sound signature of this headphone remains very engaging with good clarity, especially if a lot of your music veers towards the genres that we mentioned. That will do really well. If you're looking for headphones that are easy to bring around, because I think right now the market has a lot of open bags in terms of closed bags in the sub $1,000 US price range. In terms of really good ones, they are few and far between, and this one would be right up there. If you happen to be living in Vietnam, then come by the Audio People as we have this model exclusively, and stocks have also come in, so feel free to audition before you make your decision. If you have come so far, please like and subscribe and follow us so that you can get your weekly updates. We talk about a range of topics. We will soon have more coming up for you. And that's all for this week. See you. Bye.